having that live fire puts it in reality, especially for the new guys that have never gone into a room that's on fire or a building that's on fire.
When you go into a house fire, first place, you're going to go in on your hands and knees. You're not going to stand up and walk into one because of the superheated gases and smoke and everything that's at head level or lower already in the house. When you walk in, it's pitch black. So basically, you're doing everything by feel. And of course, then when you get to the fire, obviously you're going to be able to see the flames like that and be able to attack the flames. And you're crawling on your hands and knees with your fire hose in one hand, your tool in the other hand. You got, say, an axe, for instance.
The first thing that we have to find out when we arrive on scene is there anyone in that structure? You know, and hopefully there's someone there, the homeowners or a neighbor outside, that can tell us, yes, they're home, or no, there's no one inside. Unfortunately, if there is someone inside, our top priority is to go in and get them out as quickly as possible.
You got a hold of an axe by the head, and you're taking a handle and you're sweeping out away from your body, trying to find the person that you're looking for. But keeping in mind is you're never letting go of your hose line, because your hose line is your lifeline. If you lose that and become disoriented, you're in trouble.
Whenever we were standing at the door ready to go in, my whole thought process was, we've got a room on fire and there's someone in there. Knowing in the back of my mind that it's a dummy, but you know, the whole time, my whole mindset is there is someone in there that needs to be rescued.
There's just so many things out there that you can get in trouble as a firefighter. Just so much can happen to you.
You have to have this training in order to do your job correctly, but do your job safely. Because our motto is everybody goes home at the end of their shift.
Fortunately, everyone is going home tonight, but not before picking up.
It's only 5 to 10 minutes, then we're cleanup crew the rest of the time.
This is the fun part. This is where all the work starts. Breaking everything down, getting it back in service.
People who volunteer to fight fire may look the same as everyone else, but inside, they're a special breed.
What you tend to see, if someone is a volunteer, they're a very dedicated person, a very loyal person, someone is willing to give to their community, give to the others around them.
They kind of adrenaline junkie also, because it is very, it's a dangerous job, but it's kind of that scary to the point that it's kind of fun also.
It may be one of the community attorneys or a doctor that during the day has his own business, but when the alarm goes off, he jumps and runs and grabs his protective clothing and the red truck and goes to whatever the call is.
Anytime you're in trouble and you call, you're expecting someone to show up, and I think that's why we do it. We just want to help the community out and make sure that everyone's taken care of.
Tim Spratt is the fire chief for the community of Bridge Creek.
I have a really young crew. You know, I'm a 25-year-old fire chief. We have a lot of guys with less than 15 years of time on the department. That's a tough one to combat. We combat that with training. We take what little life experience we've got and we mix it with training.
At Bridge Creek, when we interview a new candidate, of course, we give them a rundown of everything that they can expect, what's going to be required of them. And, you know, you always get them that are gung-ho, yeah, I can do this, no problem. We'll generally know within the first 3 or 4 months if we have some serious calls whether this business is going to be there for them or not.
We trust each other. We have to, especially going into a burning building or out on a car wreck, you know, and you've got someone using power tools.
Some people just can't do it. They're just not cut out for it. And some people can't.
We're a very aggressive fire department, very gung-ho group of guys. I have a very talented group that spend a lot of time training, spend a lot of time on scene. We run a lot of calls for a department our size, so our guys get a lot of hands-on experience really quick.
Right now, our calls per day usually average more than one a day. Now, we may go 2 or 3 days without a call. We may do 2 days where we run 6, 7 calls back to back, you know.
Do you understand what you're doing when you're doing patient care?
Captain Jack Ellington has volunteered with the Bridge Creek Fire Department for 7 years. For him, public service is a way of life.
He had been a police officer for 13 years. He had been with the ambulance service, gosh, at that time probably 18, 19 years. And then he decided to go with the fire department.
Jack's pretty community oriented. We've been working with him since this service started back in 85 or 86. When he was on the police department, he worked for us part-time as a volunteer to drive truck, run calls.
He's the type of guy that when you're driving down the road, if you see somebody broke down, he's the one that's going to stop. Even though I'm going, don't do that, you don't know what kind of people they are. He's going to be there. He's always going to help someone.
I've always been a people person. And my dad always used to say, boy, the way you like to talk, you're either going to be a lawyer or a politician. But I like helping people. And I get asked several times, how can you stand to work in the same town that you live in? Well, face it, I'm not there to see people on their best day. You know, they have a crisis going on. And if I walk in that house and they see a familiar face that they know on a first name basis or seen me around town or something like that, their anxiety level is going to immediately drop.
The #1 requirement for any married volunteer is an understanding spouse. Ginger Ellington has been married to Jack for 30 years.
I think I have an advantage over most women when their husbands become firefighters because I had already been through the law enforcement side and the EMS side, which schedules are a lot alike.
Some people may have spouse trouble from being gone from home so long, you know, and we leave at the most inopportune times, you know, in the middle of one of your kids' birthday parties. Tones go off, you got to go.
You can't plan anything. You don't plan dinners, and you just go on without him. If the tones go off, he's gone, and the family just goes on without him. You don't, you can try to plan Thanksgiving, Christmas, and all that kind of stuff, but you do that with the idea and knowing that Dad may not be there. He may get called out, and that's okay.
My wife's not any different probably than every other one. She gets a little aggravated from time to time. It's like, man, do you really got to go on that? Yeah, you know what I'm doing. And sometimes it's kind of funny, it's in reverse. I'm thinking, oh man, it's just a sick call, I don't want to go. She said, no, Jack, you know what you got on this fire department for? And she said, get your butt up and go. So I get up and go. She's real supportive of what I do, and I think that's probably a luxury that a lot of guys in this business don't have.
That support comes with a lot of long nights worrying about when and if Jack will come home.
I worry with a smile, though, because I don't want him to know. Sometimes I leave the radio on when he's gone. I just have to remember to turn it off when he's coming back.
My new guys, what I tell them is get your spouse involved, get them on the auxiliary, so that way they have a working knowledge of what you do and what's required of you.
I'm a president right now of the auxiliary this year. We go with ice chest and water and Gatorade and sandwiches sometimes, snacks, you know, just to keep them going.
Matter of fact, my son and my daughter-in-law, all of them come out on the auxiliary when we call them out.
The Ellingtons have made incredible sacrifices to their community, their energy, expertise, and time. But their greatest sacrifice came the night that their son Jackie was killed while on duty.
He was like 27 days of finishing up his rookie year. He was a volunteer at Newcastle, as was myself, my oldest brother Jerry. Great big red-headed kid, 6'2", 230 pounds. You know, chest on him was that cotton picking thick, and he's a big kid. Well, it wasn't even Jackie's shift. And Chief called him and said, hey, I'm short-handed on volunteers tonight. Can you come in and cover? And Jackie's like, okay, no problem. And on the way to the station, he got just about 3/4 of a mile north on Highway 9 there on 62. And a young lady coming southbound was attempting to give her baby a bottle in the back seat of the car and come across center line and hit him head on and killed both of them. You know, not only losing the firefighter, but losing the son. That's a firefighter. You know, it happened. But, you know, people say, well, how do you handle that? I said, well, number one, it's an inherent risk with this business. Like I told you last night, we can walk out that front door at any time, and we may not ever walk back in. There's a lot of guys, something after like that, they'd have left this business. But I can't do that. You know, this is just where my heart is.
No, it doesn't. Jackie did what he enjoyed and was doing what he enjoyed with the fire department, and I wouldn't take that away from him, nor would I take it away from Jackie. Doesn't mean I'm not scared when he's out doing it, when he's on the way to a call or when he's on the way home or at one, but I wouldn't take that from him.
I know he's in heaven. I know he's safe. I don't have to worry about him anymore. I know I'll see him again one of these days.
Now the Ellingtons' youngest son, Jesse, is thinking about joining the fire department.
I think I've done almost everything I can to talk him out. But I want him to do it for him. I want it to be his decision and what he wants to do with his life. I don't want him to do it because he thinks that that's what mom and dad want him to do, or dad would be proud of him for that, or, you know, I want him to do it because that's what he really wants to do.